Hey folks, Dr. Rob Jones here, heydrrob.com, continuing on with the awesome saga of Lisa the Beast Allen and her recovery from impairment to the point where she can't even open up doors and barely put her socks on to deadlifting and squatting again. Okay, so if you go back to kind of our original story, let's turn it this way. Lisa, broken down lower back, she was a high-level rower. So her upper lumbar and lower thoracic spine was very unstable, moving too much. Now you can see naturally, she's pretty lordotic through here and then she's pretty kyphotic through here, meaning she has more of a curve here than she should. Now that created a new set of issues, or not a new set of issues, it created a set of issues that we had to rectify before we could start doing complex movements. We've got to get mobility through here while this is stable. So like we talked about before, ankle mobile, knee stable, hip mobile, lumbar spine stable, thoracic spine mobile, okay? Lisa was not only weak and unstable through here, she was stuck through here. She could not move. So that was forcing this to move too much, creating more instability, boom, more pain and dysfunction. So one of the first things we did after intra-abdominal pressure was we created better movement through here. So let's go ahead and do a chair sphinx. So this is one of my favorite moves to create mobility back through here. So basically what happens, hold on one sec. Basically what happens is when we see people who are hyperkyphotic like this, or too much curve in the thoracic spine, it locks in this position. Well, we need to have it extend. When we started this with Lisa, she had no movement through here. So if you watch our previous video, we talked about intra-abdominal pressure. So let's intra-abdominal brace or create some intra-abdominal pressure. Now let's push the sternum, which is your chest plate, and your armpits towards the ground. And you can see how she's getting a nice curve here because she can actually get some extension in the joints through the thoracic spine. So let's come back up. Now, originally when she started, this was barely moving and she was hyperextending from here. So when you try this at home, if you feel a lot of pressure in through here, it means you're moving too much through here. What I want you to think about is a little bit more abdominal brace. Widen your knees a little bit. Now think, get that sternum towards the ground. Put your brain right here and try to get that to flatten down and curve this way. Now we've got nice extension. Now the shoulder blades can start coming back and they can start moving better. So let's do a few more reps here, Lisa. So again, I know she loves doing this because it feels good on her spine. She gets a nice stretch. You'll get a nice stretching sensation through here, even though it's not muscle stretching, it's joint movement. Now I want you to think of this as a mini cat camel. We're not moving much here. We're going up and down from here to here. So let's come up just a few inches and let's go back down. Feel for that nice stretch. If you feel a little restriction right here, we'll push a little bit more from there. If you feel a little restriction here, we'll push a little bit more from there. 2 to 3 sets, 10, 12, 15 reps until you feel like you've loosened up. But again, you manage loosening this up with your intra-abdominal pressure, you're gonna help that spine function greatly. Now, you can use a weight bench, you can use a chair, you can use a bedside bench, okay? Anything that is about ish height. Or if you wanna go a little bit more advanced, let's use the ball. So basically with the ball, we're gonna go into the same setup, but we're gonna have the elbows on the front third of the ball, okay? Now, we got good width in the knees. We're gonna get intra-abdominal pressure. Now we're gonna drop the chest and armpits towards the ground. Now to create a little bit more extension yet, even with the upper thoracic spine here, we're gonna push that ball away. Now we're gonna pull the ball back just a little bit and let's drop it back down. And you can see she's naturally still kyphotic, but she does drop down and she gets nice extension out of these joints. Now let's come back up and let's go back down. So push that ball away. Now, a lot of people will say, I feel this a lot in my core and my lower back. That's because your knees are too far out and you're trying to do this like you're doing a ball rollout or a stir the pot. You want your knees directly under your hips when you do this. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let's go ahead and get this ball out of here. What we're gonna do for a little bit more thoracic mobility is we're gonna add in some rotation because coupled motion in the thoracic spine means you have to have rotation and that will induce some extension. Now, here's the rub on this, is Lisa is unstable through her upper lumbar spine. So we gotta be very careful we don't over-rotate through here, okay? So let's go down and do some T4 rotations. Okay, now what we're gonna do here, hold on one second. We're gonna basically get her in a neutral spine position, okay? So she doesn't have pain in this position. Some people are gonna feel a little bit better up in this position. If you can get forearms on the ground, that's fine. But again, if you've got a hot disc or an active disc, you don't wanna feel pain here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get intra-abdominal pressure. And a lot of people will make a mistake on this move, is they'll move too much through the arm. What we wanna do here is pretend like we're holding a coin between the wrist and the cheek, okay? So these two are gonna stay together. Now the nose and the elbow are gonna move up as one unit. And you can see here, let's go ahead and come back down. She's getting nice rotation through the middle and upper aspect of her thoracic spine. So let's go again. Let's go up, 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 up. Now she still has a little bit of work to do here, but she's doing way better. When we started this, Lisa was maybe here. Now what I did to help her is I grabbed underneath her armpit, I pushed this part of her rib cage down and induced a little bit more rotation there. So if you've got a willing participant, you don't want to go too hard, but you give them a little push with the right hand, a little pull with the left hand, and that will add in some rotation. And I just put my hands right here on her rib heads. Okay, now do a couple more on your own there. And usually after a few of those pushes, you can see she will increase her rotation. And again, you're not getting any discomfort down through here, right?
Not at all.
Yeah, so if you get some discomfort here, you're going up a little bit too high, okay? So we would do 10 reps on this side. Now let's go ahead and do the other side. Let's turn you around so your head's down this way. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna determine where she's most comfortable. She's good on her forearms. Some people like to be on their hands. Intra-abdominal pressure, not sucking the belly button in, okay? Because we don't want to move the upper lumbar spine, okay? Now, we're going to get the coin and the wrist, or the cheek and the wrist together like you're holding a coin, and then the elbow and nose are going to move as one unit. Now let's go ahead and rotate up. Build up intra-abdominal pressure so we don't move through that lower thoracic and upper lumbar spine. Let's go back down. And if I see a stuck point, she's actually better on this side, but if I give her a little pull here and a little push here, we'll add in some good rotation. And so again, 2 to 3 sets per side, okay? And that's gonna induce nice rotation through here. Now, what I like to do is, I'll do some chair sphinx, which is that first move we showed you, do a couple of sets of those, and then I'll come back and do chair or ball sphinx again. So let's go ahead and see how your spine does here. And you can usually see a little bit more thoracic extension because, as I said, rotation of the thoracic spine is coupled motion with extension. So let's push that away. And you can see, yeah, that's lovely. Like she drops in really nice through here. She was a little bit stuck through her kind of T7, T8 area, and that's coming down nicely here. There you go. That, I'm sure, doesn't feel bad at all, does it? This feels amazing, by the way. If you have low back pain and you've got your disc centralized, meaning you don't have a lot of that sciatica anymore, and you really figure out that intra-abdominal pressure and how to do these thoracic movements, your spine is gonna feel amazing. These are great moves, even if you're not in pain. Because of our lifestyles nowadays that pull us all forward and we get all slumpy, we very rarely do chest up extension type of work. This feels really good. Even when I'm not in pain, I do this almost every night before I go to bed because it is such a good movement pattern for your spine. So there you go, hope you like that. That's step 2. We fix the wonky core and bad mechanism. We deprogrammed the belly button back. We got good intra-abdominal pressure. We took that stuck thoracic spine and we got it moving again. Now we can move on to the next area. So tune in for the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like this. Hit us up on the socials at Hey Dr. Rob, and as always, don't forget to protect your back.